Hi, everyone. I'd like to recount another dream that I've had, and this one was 2 nights ago. So that would be the night of the 20th of February. So this dream just has one aspect to it that I feel is highly significant. I need to do more analysis and more integration to discover what this actually means and how I can learn from it. I feel at the moment that the dream insight that we are getting is profound, and I feel that the majority, if not all, awakened individuals are going to be getting really, really profound, strong dream imagery and insight and information at the moment. So there's just this one aspect which was a new experience for me, and so I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so prior to the dream, a friend of mine had asked if I would put out a healing request on my Telegram group. There are a lot of healers in my Telegram group, wonderful healers. They have collectively worked on healing with me, and then I've put out healing requests for my friends, Tony Mills, Ham Gregory, Diana Cooper, and other individuals when they've not been well, and they're all empathic, spiritually aware, psychic individuals, and they've all felt the healing. So a friend of mine knew this and asked if I would put out a healing request for a family member, her granddaughter, actually, a little girl who's 5 years old. So I'd put that healing request out that day, and I hadn't looked at the comments or whether anyone was healing her, but I put the request out and I knew that they would be. Many of the healers remain completely anonymous. They don't comment. They're just members of the group. And I know that because I could feel that when I had healing. I knew that there were people healing me that had never commented on my Telegram group whatsoever. And I made a video talking about this one healer in particular, and the healer did contact me exactly as I described, and said, yes, I'm the person you saw. So a lot of these healers are very humble, and they don't want to be well known at all. They just do their work, and I know that they're there, and I know that they work when a healing request is put out. So this little girl is 5, and she's my friend's granddaughter. So that had been put out. So that night, this was my dream. So I've taken some notes because it was 2 nights ago. I took notes straight away when I woke up because I'm having so many insights through dreams at the moment that I'm forgetting them. So I'm in a church. It was an unusual kind of church. It was a different kind of religion. And the best way I could explain it was like a 50% pagan and 50% Christian. It was very unusual. It was a complete blend of pagan and Christian philosophies as one. And when you were sat in the in the congregation of the church, you had to do some certain sort of movements to these songs. And I was new, and I was there with my husband. I think a couple of my children were with me, a couple of other friends. And I was sat next to Amanda Ellis in my dream. Amanda Ellis is a friend of mine who has a channel here on YouTube, and is a card reader and a psychic and channel. And Amanda and I have known each other a long time, and we're friends, but we don't see each other very much. We don't get together that often, or hardly at all, really. But we do chat sometimes on social, by email or on Messenger, and we do talk to each other occasionally, and we bump into each other, and we're friends. We live in the same vicinity, but we don't see each other all the time. We're both just very busy with our own thing. So it was interesting that I would dream of Amanda, but of course I have dreamt of Amanda before, and we've worked spiritually together in a dream before, which I've talked about. And so Amanda was sat next to me, and in this dream, Amanda was a regular churchgoer, so she knew the songs and she knew all the hand signals you had to do, which were kind of just like nothing really. Anyway, I was copying her, and she was showing me what you had to do as you sing this song, and I'm kind of doing all this, and it was fun, and it was nice, and it was a bit unusual. And then there was some incense that was burning, and then the song was all about the Christ light, and everyone was talking about the Christ light. And I just remember it being a lovely feeling, and how nice that the pagan and the Christian was blended together this way. And I think really what that was you didn't have to be a Christian to be in this church. It was more of an open, non-denominational church that was basically drawing anyone from different faiths to talk about the Christ light. That was the big topic. And Amanda and I were both saying how lovely, and we're both connected to and embracing the Christ light. Then it was time for healing. So Amanda and I said to my husband and kids, I'm going to go out the back and with Amanda into the healing room and do some healing. So Amanda and I went out into the back room, and there was a little girl about 5 years old laid on this like an altar, like a stone altar. And the little girl, who is the granddaughter of my friend, is 5 years old. But I didn't instinctively think in the dream that it was her at that point. But there was this little girl of 5 waiting to be healed. Now, I've only ever done dream healing once, I think, where someone requested healing publicly, a well-known, she was actually a UFO contactee. This is going back about 15 years. She requested healing because she'd had an accident. And I remembered that she'd requested healing. And then when I dreamt that night, I dreamt I was flying over the sky, and I looked down and saw her sitting at a child's play park on a swing. And I flew down beside her, sat on the swing, and then I put my hands into her body and gave her healing. It's the first time that had ever happened, and the only time. I don't remember ever doing any dream healing since then that I can think of. I have a feeling that I have, but I don't necessarily remember it, because dream healing is not necessarily where I'm focused. But I had put out a call for healing that day. But the interesting thing is I put a call out for healing for other healers, not necessarily for me. I don't necessarily come in, and I will obviously send healing thoughts, but I don't work very often in the deep healing way that the adept healers do. But I was in the dream, and there was me, Amanda Ellis, and then there were a few other people, and they were all embodying this Christ light that we'd been bringing forward and talking about in the church. So we all held hands and closed our eyes, and then concentrated this Christ light around this little girl on the altar. And then the other people left, and Amanda stayed in the room. She was kind of close to me, and I had to step forward and create some kind of healing portal. And I'd never done it before. And this is what I wanted to talk about. This was a new experience for me, because even though I was dreaming, at that point, it was like I was entering into an out-of-body experience or lucid dream, because I could feel what was happening. So my eyes were closed in the dream. And at first, all I saw was like a black sky out in outer space, and then little twinkling stars. And then right in the very center was a white light. And then that just got lighter, got more expansive, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and brighter and brighter and brighter. So I feel that this was the Christ light that we were talking about in the church, and that we were singing to and doing all these hand signals for. And it was all about the Christ light. So I then knew that I was manifesting the Christ light. And it was so bright. And this little circle got bigger and bigger and bigger, until I was like holding this ball of bright white light. But I had to hold it and then direct the beam over the little girl. And how I had to do that was through the heart. So it's like I had to hold the Christ light in this particular way. It's so hard to explain. It's so hard to put words to, but it was almost like my heart was open and was at a certain frequency. I feel now that this was the golden mean frequency that I had to hold the emanation from my heart at. So I held this Christ light and I'm holding it within the heart. And I then allowed this light to go over the little girl. And it's like it wasn't coming from me. It was like a Christ light that had been created by all of the congregation in the church and the healers and Amanda. And I was at that point holding it. So I was holding it over the little girl. And it was the most profound. And I could see the light. And I remember thinking at the time, how strange that I'm asleep and I have a blackout sleep mask that I wear every night. And I get way better dreams when I wear this. Really intense, powerful dreams. If you can hear a dog barking, that's my neighbor's dog. I wear one every night and it's a blackout mask. So the minute you put it on, there's no light whatsoever. I mean, you literally can't see anything. It's just pitch black. And as I said, when I'm wearing that, the dreams are so amazing and intense. And I think that this is obviously to do with melatonin production and the activation of the pineal gland. So I remember thinking in the dream, and I'm stood in this healing room in front of this little girl, but I obviously knew I was dreaming and knew I was asleep because I remember thinking, how amazing that I'm wearing the blackout mask. And yet all I can see is light. And I remember thinking, I've got a blackout mask on and it's completely pitch black, but all I can see is brilliant light. And it's really interesting because the light wasn't what I would call white. It was white. It was white, but it was more like a cream white, like an off-white. But you just knew that it was full of all the colors. It wasn't just white. It was Christ light, not white light. That's the only way I can explain it as different. There's a difference between white light and Christ light, and this was Christ light. And I had never seen it before in dream space. I had never created the Christ light before in dream space or created the portal before in dream time, in dream space. This was new to me and I could feel it and my heart was so open. And I had this feeling it was the golden mean frequency, the frequency of bliss. And I'm holding this with my heart open, beaming this down onto the little girl. And I knew this little girl would be getting profound healing. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I can hold this for much longer. This is just so profound and so blissful and so high vibrational. And I have seen this light once before in a out-of-body experience. I remember going up, 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 up. This is going back well over a year. Up, 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 up. And I remember going up through clouds into this exactly the same light. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought that's the ceiling point of this reality. It must be plasma, but it's exactly the same. It's like a light that is full of everything. It's got everything in it. Everything is in this Christ light. This is the morphogenetic light or photonic light. I know about this. The 9 have talked to me about it. They've shown it to me in visions, but in the visions, I'm looking at it. Whereas in this dream state, I was actually at one with it, holding it, emanating it from my heart, from the creation in the congregation, and beaming it down to this little girl. And I remember thinking, I can't hold this any longer. It's so blissful and so bright. And I'm holding it for as long as I can. And then I remember saying, Amanda. And I had my eyes closed because I had to keep my eyes closed to hold the Christ light portal on this little girl, this beam of energy. Amanda, but she didn't answer. And I said again, Amanda. She didn't answer. I said it a third time, Amanda. She still didn't answer. And then I had to say, Amanda Ellis. I had to say her full name. And then she said, yes, I'm here. I said, can you take over for me? I don't think I can hold the light any longer. So she came in and she stood where I was. And then the light passed from me to her and went to her heart. And then I stepped back. And then I knew that Amanda was holding the light. Now, the analysis for me is, and this was exactly the same kind of thing as last time I had a dream with Amanda Ellis, and it's the same thing. It's like, you can't do this on your own as one person, whether it's healing or holding Christ light, whether it's ascending, connecting to the higher realms, moving into new earth, whatever it may be. It's a collective effort. There needs to be more than one. And I was like, so happy to have passed this, literally passed the beacon or the torch to Amanda. She stepped forward and she was holding the Christ light with an open heart, with that bliss charged golden mean, just like me. And I remember stepping back thinking, great, Amanda's doing that now. So it's like I can rest and take a breather, because it wasn't hard work, but it was such concentration. It was such focus. And the light was just so bright and so all immersive that I needed to have another person there. It's like I couldn't do it by myself. So I remember walking into the congregation and just feeling what a wonderful experience that was. And then I remember waking up. The interesting thing here is the healing request. No, I woke up and the first thing I thought, that's it. As soon as I opened my eyes, the first thought I had was, that was my friend's granddaughter. That was her on the altar. I knew. I didn't realize in the dream that it was her. I didn't realize with the healing, but I knew it was her when I opened my eyes. And I thought, how lovely that I've participated in the healing, because I put the healing request out. And obviously I held in my heart the desire to heal her, and the intention to heal her, and sent her my healing vibes. But I didn't actually go into an intense healing work like the adept healers do. And now I feel that I did. And this is only the second person that I can remember in my life that I've done dream healing for. I think there may be another that I barely recollect. I think possibly someone I did a reading for, I did some dream healing work with. But I've done dream analysis, dream readings. I've done loads of dream readings. When I was seeing clients, I would do dream readings about them before I met them. By the time I came to see them, I'd seen their photo. I'm like, I did an entire dream reading on you last night. So all I do is recount the entire dream, and they're like, oh wow. So it was all done at night. But I didn't do dream healing very often, but this was. The interesting thing is, I remember thinking, I put this request out on my Telegram channel. That's where the healers are. I didn't put it on any other social media. And Amanda, as far as I'm aware, doesn't follow my Telegram channel. As far as I know, she's not even on Telegram. I really don't think she is. Never seen her name there. So Amanda wouldn't even know on a physical level, on a reality level, that I'd asked for healing. And yet she was there. She was there with me, working with me, holding that space, holding that Christ light. And she was there sort of helping me to work with all the songs and the hand sort of happy vibes in this church. So that was really interesting that I'd sort of called her into my dream space, or that we'd met in dream time. I haven't told Amanda, but I probably will send her this video so that she can see that she was in my dream. So only a short video, but I just wanted to talk about it because what I wanted to mention was the Christ light and the feeling of it and how powerful it was. And it's almost like I didn't hold, yes, I had an intention to heal this little girl, but it was almost like a passing intention. And then I would close my eyes and think, right, I'm going to send healing to this little girl. But it wasn't, I hadn't made space for an actual healing session. I hadn't sat down and thought, right, I'm now going to, spend some time and actually go in and do some healing. Because I feel that I'm not necessarily a healer. I'm a messenger and a channel. And I feel that the healing that I have helped with anyone who asks for healing is by putting the request out on my channel so that the healers see that request and they work. But obviously, this is my friend's granddaughter, and I do know the little girl because she's actually friends with one of my grandchildren. So because it's close to me, I think obviously I was called in to actually do this healing, which was a surprise to me. But I think the message I'm getting across here is that you don't have to hold a high focused intention, just a passing intention, a passing thought, and being open to receiving whatever is there for you in dream time. And I personally feel as though I've been working equally spiritually in dream time as I am in the waking state. I feel like I'm working constantly spiritually in the day, whether that's communing with the nine or writing or making a video or talking to people, whatever it may be. And then I'm doing the same thing at night. And I know the starseeds are all doing the same thing. It's not just me. There's like millions of people that are working 24/7 all night and all day. So I just wanted to kind of share this experience, really, because it was very beautiful, very powerful, an amazing feeling. And the memory of this light being so full of everything, and not brilliant white, but almost an off-white. And the reason why it's an off-white is because there's so much in it. And there is a lot of talk about false light and all that. So I think if you see light, if you see this light that is brilliant white light, then maybe does it look like a false brilliant white light, like an electric light, or does it look like a plasma that's full of everything? Do you feel it in your heart? Is there bliss in your heart when you feel that light? And I think that's how you can tell the difference between this false presentation, which is kind of like the difference between a light bulb, the light given off by a light bulb, or the sun. It's the same kind of thing. And this is very beautiful light and very difficult to explain, like a cream white light, an off-white light, heavy and thick with everything. Very beautiful. And I remember thinking, I can't believe I'm seeing so much white light when I've got my sleep mask on, which is a blackout mask. So yeah, I mean, that's the message here, really. The main message is you can do healing in dreams. You can manifest a fleeting intention in your dreams as well, that you are a powerful healer even if you don't think you are, that you can work with other people even if you don't see them every day or even speak to them. But ultimately, how powerful is the pineal gland for you to literally see nothing but light when you are wearing a blackout mask and your eyes are closed? And there's that light. So if you're not wearing a blackout eye mask and you don't have pitch black at night, blackout curtains, then I would recommend getting one if you are serious about your dream work, because my dreams are so different when I wear that mask, and I make sure I wear it every night, because the darkness is giving you the landscape to see light and color more vividly. Whereas if there's any light actually getting into your eyes, you don't see that color so brightly. Having said that, I have astral projected for probably 40 years, 35 to 40 years, and beyond that when I was even younger, and had vivid lucid dreams. And I haven't worn a blackout eye mask until the last few months. So it can happen regardless. If it's meant to happen to you, it will. But it's a good tip to have a blackout mask. Okay, well, thank you again for listening, and I will be back with more videos. So I shall see you soon. Bye.